My husband and I bought and have been renovating an old rundown Craftsman that was built in 1916. I lived in a legit haunted house when I was a teenager, so I know what that's like, and at first I didn't have any negative feelings in this house. I was often alone at the house doing renovations when my husband was at work back when I did shift work and nothing. Then after being there a little less than a year I got pregnant. While I was pregnant I had a few night terror instances in which I awoke and saw a pale little boy with dark circles under his eyes who looked about 7 or 8 standing in the corner. The first time he just stood there for several seconds after I woke up and then disappeared. The next couple of times it happened he began walking towards me and then disappeared just before he got to me. I screamed blood murder each time, and even though I was wide awake at that point and screaming, the image did not immediately disappear and stayed several seconds. I remember thinking each time, this is it, it's finally happening, it's really real. Somehow I fell back asleep each of those nights fairly quickly. After my daughter was born she slept in a crib in our room for several months. I remember having one night terror of that little boy when she was in our room, and amazingly I didn't wake her up screaming. When my daughter was a little older and able to sit up around 6 months old, she began having some odd behaviors. She would be playing and then just stop and look up in a corner of the ceiling for a long time. I would look up at where she was looking, thinking she was seeing a shadow or something, but there was absolutely nothing there. She also did that a few times, looking at different corners in the house. She outgrew the behavior by the time she was 2, and our second daughter never did any of that. My husband and I joke about the little boy now and again, especially when anything weird happens. Recently a toy scooter started rolling in the living room for a few feet then stop. My husband explained it by off-level floors, but it's not done that before or since. I've also heard bumps and scratching in the walls behind our headboard at night, which again my husband chalked up to a mouse, but we never did catch one in the traps. And on many occasions I've seen dark shadowy movement in the corner of my eyes in our room. Our room is directly across from the living room and you can see into it from the couch. So maybe it's just old house stuff like my husband says. Or maybe there is a little ghost boy living with us.